in an individualized, unique expression of the divine. So one more breath together to affirm that. Inhale, exhale, that we are each the... We know that God can lovingly release all past hurts and division in light and love. Together with our church leaders, we co-create a vibrant, loving, high consciousness ministry. From our expanded Christ consciousness, we spread love and peace in our community and the world, seeing us all as one. We pray this in the name of Jesus Christ, and so. Good morning. How are we feeling? Excellent. And it was evenly distributed. I'm liking that. We had a great day yesterday. We painted rocks. You can see some of them in the fellowship hall. We and then had a little rock concert with them. So yeah, I know you'll see pictures in the newsletter. Before we move into the vision and our mission statement, I just want a little laundry item for this morning. If you saw in the newsletter, today was Stump the Minister Sunday. And that means that you get to ask questions, any questions you want. Ask any question you want. I don't know that I'll answer any question. But in our principles, what does it mean, or how do we use it in today's, with this issue or that? So when you came in, you may or may not have gotten a little piece of paper and something to write with. Raise your hand if you did not get a piece of paper, and the ushers will find you. And what you're invited to do, and you don't have after, and then a little bit further down in the service, I'm going to just ask you to pass them, when you're done, actually, no, when you're done with them, pass them to the aisle. So the person on the aisle has a job this morning. So when you're done with your question, just pass it to the aisle, and the ushers will pick them up. And then when it comes time for the service, that becomes, I'll just pull questions, and we'll have a little bit of fun, hopefully. But the goal is to stump the minister. So does anyone still need a piece of paper? Raise your hand, or something to write with, maybe a neighbor could share. And again, when you're done, just pass the paper to the end, to the aisle, and the ushers will come. I'm not going to specifically ask the usher, I don't want to interrupt service again, so just pass them to the end, and the ushers will pick them up. Okay. So, our vision, with all of our energy and all of our joy, together, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission, in loving community, we nurture and inspire spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal spiritual principles. And our values, welcoming, diverse, prayerful, transformational, abundant, joyful, and empowering. Amen? Amen? Amen. Well, I wanted to land on the values first. Okay, our statement of being together. God is all, visible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Amen? Amen. Amen. I enjoyed that. Comes to life who we are.
It's always great to hear your music. Good morning, everyone. Happy summer. We're almost midway through the year, which is hard to believe. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center. My name is Gail Grossman, and it is my pleasure today to be your platform assistant. Thank you for joining us. Unity Spiritual Center is our spiritual home where we know, love, and serve God through prayer and meditation. Our celebrations, classes, and community. We appreciate the talents of our musicist and extraordinaire Hector Garrido and Laurel Keys. Now please stand and join me in singing our joy song, It's a Special Day. I hope that woke everybody up. If this is your first time to Unity Spiritual Center, welcome. We are glad you're here, and we appreciate you wearing a name tag so that we can all get to know your name. If you would like a guest packet, please stop by our Welcome Center desk outside the sanctuary and pick one up. Our welcome volunteers are happy to answer your questions and give information about Unity. You are never alone on the road to life. It is time for our community greeting, and that means vitamin H for hugging. We're a hugging community, but if you don't want to be hugged, just hold your hand out and someone will shake your hand. There'll be more time to greet each other after our service and enjoy refreshments in the community room across the way. And after just a couple minutes, you'll hear me ding and Hector play. And that means it's time to take your seat. Ready, set, go! Thank you, everyone. That was wonderful. Will the ushers please collect the questions at this time? So you want to hear a joke? Okay. Here's your joke for today. A priest, a minister, and a rabbi want to see who's best at their job. So each one goes into the woods, finds a bear, and attempts to convert it. Later they get together to share their stories. The priest begins. When I found the bear, I read to him from the catechism and sprinkled him with holy water. Next week is his first communion. I found a bear by the stream, says the minister, and preached God's holy word. The bear was so mesmerized that he let me baptize him. They both looked down at the rabbi, who was lying on a gurney in a body cast. Looking back, says the rabbi, I shouldn't have started with the circumcision. Now, Dee Babel will give an update on the board's actions, after which Denny Ralston will read the daily word and bless the prayer box.
Okay, this is the board action report. Covers the period from April 11th to May 16th. The driveway repair contract has been signed, and so we're going to be putting new asphalt on the driveway. And the repair will start the week of July 13th. The church will be closed July 23rd and July 24th. We don't want you walking on that new asphalt. So that's a Monday and a Tuesday, so do not plan on coming to the church on those 2 days. Okay, the hurricane window protection protectors have been purchased and installed. We did new treatments for the windows so that we don't have to replace these windows. So anyway, they're really going to be effective. The smartphone hearing assistant system has been tested, and you heard Stormy give you an introduction to that. So the drop box for notes to the board has been eliminated. If you wish to talk to the board, if you have some concerns, you can contact the board. Their emails and phone numbers are in the back of your bulletin. You can also approach them when you see them and stuff and give them your concerns, but we've eliminated the drop box. The sound system is now in the community room, so if you have an event in the community room, we have a sound system that you can use. Hurricane procedures have been updated. The bylaws are to be updated in September, and we'll let you know when we're doing that. And then, of course, any change to the bylaws requires a vote of the membership and stuff, so we'll have you notified for all of that. And the January-June net income will be reported in the e-news next week. So that's your update.
Good morning. Would all prayer chaplains please rise? If you'd like to have prayer after the service with a prayer chaplain, that's what we're here for. So we will be standing in the front of the sanctuary, and we're glad to have prayer with you. There are 2 private rooms on each side of the sanctuary if you would prefer more privacy. We're honored to be of service. Thank you, chaplains. Today, I'm going to read from the Daily Word, published by Unity. It's our inspirational daily word that we read. The word for today is Psalm 23:6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. The 23rd Psalm affirms comfort through the darkest valley At times it may seem that only by finding myself in a dark valley am I able to appreciate the spiritual substance by which I am surrounded. Faith reminds me that comfort is a quality of spirit, not dependent on any conditions or circumstances in my life. This awareness aids me in being a channel of comfort and security and serenity for others as well. I do so by replacing drama or instant judgment with an energy of peace and love. At every opportunity, even through seeming valleys, I find the time to be still and to know nothing can disturb my calm that I feel and the serenity that I feel with others. Let's read the affirmation on the board. In extending comfort to others, I find peace. The spiritual power of the month is love. The corresponding color is pink, and you can see that on the banner in front of me. The center of love is at the back of the heart. Love is the ability to attract, unify, and desire. Love is represented by Mary of Nazareth and John, son of Zebedee. Please join me in saying the affirmation on the board. Jesus Christ is now here, raising me to the consciousness of infinite love, and my soul is filled and satisfied. And now we'll bless the prayer box. If you would please, just gently close your eyes and take a deep breath and let it out. And center it into your heart. We are grateful to come together to pray for all the names that are named in this prayer box. We know as loved ones and friends of these folks, we see only perfection, wholeness, and health, no matter what the outer circumstances. Faculties, the abilities to do what we need to do, what we're guided to do through our spiritual connection. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen.
When your soul feels the passion, rises up in the mansion, when your joy overflows, and you're filled with compassion, that's all. What you see and what you learn is not the ultimate concern. What you choose to think and be. Feel the truth that sets you free, that's love. That's love. Allow it to flow. Go ahead, get out the way. Let your light turn into day. Allow love to take control. It's about what moves your soul. What moves your soul. That's when you offer forgiveness and let go of resistance, when you seek to understand and you lend a helping hand, that's love. Allow it to flow. Go ahead and get out of the way. Let your night turn into day. Allow love to take control. It's about what moves your soul. What moves your soul. Oh yeah, that's love. That's love. It's a reason for living. It's why you deserve it all. It's receiving and it's giving. Listen now, can you hear the call? That's love. That's love. That's love. Allow it to flow. That's love. That's love.
Okay, I'm going through these already. Not so fast. These are awesome. These are amazing. I wish that we could do them all, but I cannot. But there are a couple that I will invite you to see me afterwards. One question is about, are there going to be Course in Miracles classes in the future? I would say check the calendar and or see a board member or someone who actually knows something beyond what I know for that. There's another question that asks, what is the Q effect? See me after. I'd be happy to talk more about that. Okay, so here's one. This is a simple one to start off with. Why are Unity ministers a rev versus a pastor? Have you ever noticed that? Yeah, and sometimes when some ministers, if you call them pastor, they'll correct you. They'll say reverend. And honestly, the best that I can tell is that Unity was born out of traditional Christianity. It was sort of Christianity's next evolution and beyond. And so in New Thought, and so pastor, the word pastor tends to be a more traditional Christian title, given to someone who has gone through seminary, who's licensed, who's ordained. And so reverend is a bit more universal. Reverend is a bit more contemporary, for lack of a better word. So that's kind of the best thing that I've learned, that I've discovered in the difference between pastor and reverend, pastor. And even today, you know, some younger gentlemen, like what would she be, my niece-in-law? She's a Presbyterian pastor, but she is called both reverend and pastor. And so I've sort of, over time, put it into a generational. Pastor being a little more traditional of a term, and some people just don't like it. So I want to address there's been several questions in here about where does Unity stand on, well, there's a broader question, where does Unity stand on social issues, on social justice? And then there's several that attached to that want to know where does Unity stand on refugees and immigrants. And so it can be, I know some ministers and pastors who will not talk about it from the pulpit. And I'm not one of those. So if that's what you're looking for, you might want to cover your ears for a couple minutes, because I do have a few things to say about that. But in Kansas City, excuse me, I'm the chair for the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. So I am kept very busy by stories and social issues, human rights issues around immigrants and around refugees. And Unity as a whole, it's basically, Unity, generally speaking, its stand is really about what does my faith invite me to do. So there isn't really a specific directive from what I call the mothership. And there's actually two of those. There's Unity Worldwide Ministries, and Unity Worldwide Ministries is the quote-unquote mothership for the ministries. It's there to support the ministries. So many people in churches have never heard of Unity Worldwide Ministries, which would make sense because it's really about the administrative and the organizational support needed for churches and spiritual communities. And then there's Unity. Unity Village is the home of Daily Word, of Silent Unity, of retreats, of the seminary when it was a residential program, was on grounds at the village. So, and Unity Village, or Unity World Headquarters, the audience this other mothership serves is more of the general public. Believe it or not, most people that read Daily Word, you heard Denny read Daily Word this morning, most people that read Daily Word are actually not Unity. 95% of the people that read Daily Word are Catholics and and most people don't even realize that Daily Word is a Unity publication because we print 500,000 of them every 2 months, and they're in hospitals and doctor's offices, and they're just everywhere. So the stand, what stand does Unity take? It depends on which organization are you referring to. So Unity Worldwide Ministries does support, in some ways, ministers and how do I have this conversation. When I teach for seminary, I'm doing that all the time with ministerial students. And then there's Unity Village. And where does the village stand? You know, what do they have to say? What does Silent Unity have to say? What does Daily Word, Unity Magazine, our Facebook pages, like all of these avenues of connection and communication. And what I can tell you is that I do not see one specific clear, here's where we stand. In part, it's sort of the good news and the bad news, because every congregation is a little bit different. Each minister is a little bit different. For me, personally, I can't imagine not talking about it. Not because and some people relegate it to something political, and I think the place we are called to talk about it and to investigate it is, what does my faith ask me to do? What does my faith tell me to do in whatever the situation is? So it's whatever it is, whether it's about immigrants, and the root of the word immigrant means to go into, to move into, right? The root of the word refugee means to take shelter. Okay, so, and in times of great suffering, and in times of when we see things going on in our country and in our communities that for some of us are just really horrific, and really, you ever get frozen, like, I feel helpless, I don't know what to do, I want to do something? Right, so that's the time, and in those moments, we oftentimes, and some in Unity and other denominations, we kind of go, okay, well, where's God in this? Right? You ever hear yourself saying that, or hear someone else saying, well, where's God in this? And my question would be, a better question to me is not where is God in this, a better question is where is humanity in this? Where is your humanity in this? Where are you demonstrating and practicing that Christ consciousness? Right? Which takes me back to, who do I want to be and how do I want to be that? It still brings me back to, what does my faith tell me to do? What does my faith ask me to do? We say in Unity we have 5 principles. For me, it's 2 principles, 3 actions. First principle is there's one presence and one power, and the second principle, you heard me say it last week, is what? You're it. And then there's 3 action steps. It's about prayer and meditation, it's about our thoughts and feelings create our world, and then we need to put feet on it. It's really easy to be spiritual in a cave, right? Right? I can sit in a lotus position with plinky plunky music and incense till the cows come home. But there's more. So for me, my faith tells me that it is prayer. Unity's founded on prayer. It's prayer and what's mine to do, what's mine to be in action. One of my favorite quotes of Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, people think all they need to do is pray and pray and pray. And that's not enough. The body needs to be acted upon. You need to do something. And I love that, because I think sometimes we get a little stuck at the prayer, right? How many memes do you see on Facebook that say thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers? And there's a few times over the years where I want to go, oh, no, stop. There's more. It's thoughts and prayers, because my consciousness, what I believe, my faith, my conviction, my passion tells me what my next step is, whatever that is. And so I can't speak for this church community on what their stand is regarding refugees or immigrants, but I can invite you into some discomfort, because we are called to do something, right? I think we've gone a little bit overboard in our, sometimes when you hear that, well, follow your bliss, right? Well, just do what you love. Not untrue, but it's not enough. What the world needs, what the person sitting next to you needs, the world outside these 4 walls, is for us to get a little bit uncomfortable, to stretch ourselves, to go beyond what we know. Yes, follow your passion, and then get uncomfortable, because it requires you to know your neighbor. And your neighbor, biblical terms, was somebody you didn't know. It's not the neighbor we know today. In Hebrew scripture, the neighbor is just whoever's closest. Doesn't mean you know him. Doesn't mean you even like him. So what does my faith tell me to how to be with someone that I don't even like? Right? You heard of the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have done unto you. It's a little self-centered. The platinum rule invites me to do unto others as they would like to have done unto them. Requires a little discomfort on my part, doesn't it? If I have to connect with you. How would you like to have done unto you? What does peace look like for you? What does compassion look like for you? What does justice look like for you? What does love? What does joy? I don't know. I gotta ask. Especially with people we don't know or people we don't like. We're great in Unity. We say, everybody's welcome, right? Unless and until we're a little intolerant of technology. It just means we have some work to do. So when it comes to specific issues, when it comes to LGBTQ, when it comes to immigrants, when it comes to refugees, when it comes to, pick an issue that's alive in our culture. The place that I always start is, what does your faith tell you? Not where is God in this, but where are you? Where is your humanity? So last week I told you, your humanity and your divinity are connected. They go together. God is made manifest in this human world here. So what is it that I'm doing for that? Something not just prayer, but beyond, which means I need to be a little uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You with me?
Yes.
All right. Oh. Explain levels of consciousness and how to raise it individually and as a church community. They have doctoral dissertations on this question. People do doctoral dissertations on this. It's a great question, though, right? We talk about levels of consciousness like we know what that means. Who labeled the levels? What are the levels named? How do I know which one I'm in? Who's got the right diagram? Whose legend for the map am I using? So now I just confused it even more, right? So in terms of explained levels of consciousness, so a very simple place to start is there are different, I wouldn't even say levels, I would say states. I would say states of consciousness. When you sleep, that's a state of consciousness. Right now, we're awake, we're aware. This is a state of consciousness, of awareness. Right? Unitive, non-dual awareness is a state of consciousnness that some people reach during meditation. But you don't know when you're in it. That's why it's called non-dual. After, Charles Fillmore referred to it as the silence with a capital S. So when I say here during meditation, or you hear someone in church, or now we're going to go into the silence, you're not going into the silence, you're going into the quietness. The silence is a state of consciousness of non-dual awareness. So you don't know you're there until after you've come out. So how do you, and I even go so, and one of the reasons I don't say levels, we have this attachment to going up, to being enlightened, to ascending. And frankly, okay, this might upset a few people. I'm a little tired of the going up. I don't think we need to ascend. We need to expand. Right? To ascend, to go to a higher state. And believe me, I understand the language. The definition is a higher state of consciousness. I completely understand it. What I think has happened, though, is we've gotten attached to being in a higher as though it's better than lower. And it's not. It's expanded. When I say, and expanded is kind of three-dimensional. So in expanding my consciousness, I'm still embracing all other stages of development and stages and states of consciousness that I experience and I've been through. Does that make sense? So, how do we expand consciousness? What's the first? Give me one place to start. Meditation. Meditation. Yeah. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were very clear about that. They started with prayer. In fact, Myrtle started. Charles sat by watching for a while, being science-minded. He goes, let's see how this works out before I start doing it. Well, he did. And she started her prayer and her meditation and talking to her body. So she was expanding consciousness. She's expanding her knowing. She's expanding her capacity to express divine mind. You with me? And how does one raise it individually? Well, a starting point is prayer and meditation. Another way is to get uncomfortable, right? Get outside your comfort zone. Challenge. If I have not challenged your faith once during the 8 weeks I'm with you, I have not done my job. Really. I tell every ministerial student that in every seminary class I teach. So if I have not challenged your faith at least once, I'm not doing my job. That's a way to expand consciousness, is I have to be willing to move beyond what I know. Okay. Let's see. There's so many good ones. Oh, here's a good one. When I pray, I would like to visualize God. What vision, mind vision, is helpful to image God? Any ideas? Yeah. Yourself? Nature? What else? Other people? Sorry? Light. Yeah. So, there's not a one-off answer for this. When I pray, I would like to visualize God. Here's the catch of that, is that if God is infinite, if God is principle, then the minute you put an image on it, you've limited it, which is okay, which is fine. You just have to know that's what you're doing, because guess what? Each one of us is a limited expression of God. When I want to demonstrate compassion, think quantum physics, wave, infinite potential, I'm pulling a particle out. That particle is compassion. Compassion is a limited expression of infinite potential. Kindness, joy, any divine idea, any manifestation. Anytime I am practicing putting our principles into effect, into demonstration, I'm taking infinite potential and I'm limiting it on purpose, intentionally, to express what it is I want to express. So, what want to visualize God? What's helpful? I think what's helpful is what's helpful for you. What brings you peace of mind? I would start with it. Whatever you're moving into prayer, you're moving into meditation, where's the discomfort in your in your life? Or scan your body. Where is there pain in your body? What image would give you some peace of mind? What image would, which is why you hear lots of different, I visualize myself, nature, light, or maybe just nothing. Or let the mind go and just let it flow. Wow, some of these are long. It's 10 to 11 already. Okay. Does God love atheists? What do you think? Okay, I'm going to challenge you now. So to say that God loves is to you ready, Denny? Is to, she knows where I'm going. To say that God loves, God forgives, God does something, we are making God an anthropomorphic being, right? And yet, unity teaching is that God is principle. That God is the principle of love. Which means God doesn't love anybody. I do. You do. As God in expression. There's one presence and one power active in the universe. God is principle. God is the one divine idea, divine mind. I'm it. You're it. An infinite number of expressions of God. So, the question is, do you love atheists? See how tricky I am? Now, I know that it is, for some people, for me to say that God doesn't love or God doesn't forgive can be a little challenging, a little upsetting. Don't go messing with my Jesus, right? Don't go messing. I had it all figured out. I'm very comfortable with it. God loves me. God, believe me, I understand that. There are times in my darkest days that I hear that and I go, yeah, because that's what I needed. But if I come back to principle, if I come back to our metaphysical teachings, God is principle. So God is the principle that I use to love. It's the principle that you use to love. Right? And it can feel a little impersonal when we say God is it or God is principle. But you use God. That's the power of unity, is that you use God every day, all the time. That's how you create the world that you want. That's how you decide what it is yours to do for immigrants or refugees or LGBTQ or the Poor People's Campaign or for prosperity, raising money for fundraising, whatever, for prayer. That's how you love, is you use that principle. Everybody breathe. Does God love atheists? If you do, so love is the harmonizing force in the universe. Love is the harmonizing power in our universe. How are we feeling? Did that work? Did we stump the minister? Not yet. I got a few more weeks here. So there were a lot more questions that I didn't get to. So that's what I want to leave you with, is love. To ask yourself, what is mine to love, and how is it mine to love today? What does my faith tell me about how to be human in this world? What does my faith tell me about how to marry the divine with being human? Yeah? You good with that? I'm going to ask you next week how you did that. There'll be a quiz. All right. Namaste. And I think we're on. Okay. See, I'm still trying to figure out the point. Let's take that idea. Love is my decision. Take a deep breath. Bring all your attention to your heart space. And silently affirm that. Love is my decision. Love is my choice. Love is my birthright. Love is my inheritance. Love is my decision. In every moment of every day, I choose. The power of will is the chooser within me that says yes to love. That says yes to extending the hand. And also says yes to receiving love. So take a moment and bring to the mind's eye all the people in your life that you love. Family, friends, people here at church, co-workers. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. But whoever it is that you love, bring them to the mind's eye. And now imagine all of them reaching their hands out to extending love to you. Imagine yourself opening your heart and your hands and seeing them place all of their love, all of their compassion, all of their generosity in your heart. And open just a little bit wider. And feel them placing all of that love, all of that appreciation, gratefulness, kindness into your heart. And feel it radiate through your body. Feel it move down your arms and your legs, out your fingers and your toes. And in every moment, you are deciding to expand that out. Love is truly your decision. It is your responsibility. It is why we have come together here on earth at this time. So continue to focus on the love that's moving from your heart space through your body and out. And just imagine that and feel that as we be in the stillness for a moment, in the stillness. So we rest in this comfort. We rest in this comfort, knowing that it is peace. And it is from this place of comfort and stillness that we extend that love, that we consciously choose and make the decision to love. And so we go forth and we be it with all of our mind, our heart, our soul, and our strength. And so it is. Amen. We close our meditation with the Lord's Prayer. Together? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven So if you are new to Unity, welcome, and we want to give you a blessing. Together? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Thank you. And if you would hold your offering, the time of giving of our gifts of our time, and you can hold it to your heart. And we speak our prayer together. Divine love adds me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Are we singing?
Oh.
Turn around and face everybody. Group blessing. So you heard me say it last week, Myrtle Fillmore, through me, blesses and multiplies you. Amen? Amen. Yeah, I'll take. Okay, let's stand and circle up and sing our way out.